Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 232nd edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the amazing Spider-Man Defense Force, Jaden.
Howdy.
Howdy. Coming in a bit soft today, okay?
Yeah, I was dead ass with it's just taking your shit. Kind of low energy for some reason.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. We'll try and sort of.
I'll come into it though. Just give me
we'll try and
3 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You might come up a bit. I might come down a bit with you. That's fine. Whatever works, And we've got, of course, the leader of the war on the Magpies, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. I'm kind of like Jaden this morning, to be honest. I'm kind of...
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it the last episode or just end of year, depression type?
No, I'm not depressed or anything. I think I'm just... I think I can relate to what Jaden said right before we started, where I'm just... I don't know if I'm up for this today with, just dealing with you guys, because I literally... It's my fault, but I literally just spent like my last hour out on my walk listening to the awards from last year, as I usually do. And it was, don't get me wrong, it was a fun listen, but it's kind of like I think we're all right. But
you've spent your time with us for today.
Exactly. It's like now I'm cinema affected out for the day, but I've actually got to do the real thing. Unfortunately, I should have probably paced myself out a little bit better. I should have maybe listened to that after, listened to it tomorrow. But alas, now I've got to do it again. And I'm not shitting on you guys. It's like, oh, I've got to listen to myself talk, and then I've got to listen to you guys talk. It's a big thing. It's a whole lot. So anyway, we'll try our best today. We'll see how we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. This week, the movie we're checking out is Mission Impossible, the very first one, which opened in the US on May 22nd, 1996, almost 30 years ago. It was directed by Brian De Palma. It is a spy thriller. And the synopsis says, an American agent under false suspicion of disloyalty must discover and expose the real spy without the help of his organization. That is a great synopsis. Shout out to that. Nailed it. Okay. Mission Impossible 1, new franchise, kicking it off strong, maybe. We'll see. But we go back to where it all began. Pretty exciting. Jaden. I don't even know if you could answer how many times you've seen this movie, but you can attempt to try if you want.
Well, Letterboxd says only 3, but I know that's a lie because I watch it all the time and I just don't log it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've spoken about this movie like twice already in highlights. Like when I first watched it, and then like I think when I recently rewatched it as well. So like I don't really want to go over too much of what I said. I also don't want to contradict what I've said before.
Well, you can just jump out of the call if you like,
Yeah, I might just fucking leave. That might be my issue with the episodes, actually. Yeah, I think this film's great. And I think what I love about it so much is how different it is to everything that comes after it. This is like still truly before it became an action film, which obviously I love the action stuff afterwards. But De Palma's work in depicting spycraft here is really great, especially 90s like kind of stuff like that. And I think that's like always what I appreciate the most about this first one in particular, is that it's focused on that before its shift. And that's why I think like the third act kind of falls off for me a little bit, because you do get that more actiony kind of climaxed ending, which I think is still solid, but it's just that from what we set up before and what I take this film for being unique from the rest of the franchise, kind of stuff like that. So great film, and it's a fun one to chat about.
Yeah, cool. I'm pretty much exactly the same. I think I might like it the least of us three. We'll see. But no, I don't. I'm pretty similar. Like, I think it's a really solid movie, a really solid foundation for the franchise moving forward. But as you say, like, the evolution of it is sort of the fun part of going back to the first one. Because it doesn't take long to evolve. Like, I feel like this is sort of, I don't want to say there is an evolution that takes place over a longer period of time, but nonetheless, this film feels the most standalone, the most in its tone and what it's doing. So that's why it is a fun one to revisit for that reason. I agree. But yeah, no, I definitely like it. I don't connect with it in the same way I do the later ones. So like, it's probably I'm just, it's probably premature to say this, but like it's probably going to end up pretty low on like a ranking at the end of the day for me. But nonetheless, I think it's a very good movie, and it does a lot really well. It's very streamlined, very straightforward, which I very much appreciate about it for sure. Fitzy,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you like this movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. It's pure style, pure like espionage, as Jane was kind of saying, and just like it goes like fully into the whole like deception and double crossing stuff as well, and the masks and that kind of fun shit that Mission Impossible does. So yeah, and I do also agree with the third act. Like I think that the first two acts are very exciting and just in like the kind of unraveling of the first kind of scene at Prague, and the film does lose some of its like momentum, I guess, as it gets more actiony. But it's a great time, and very different from the other ones for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because it's almost like this is the foundation, but they don't really lose anything from this. It's not a change in that way. It's sort of like they only build on top of this. Like what you see here is very much, I think, still prevalent in the modern entries, especially when it comes to the double crossing and all that kind of stuff and those kind of scenes. Ripping off the mask and we got your kind of thing, like that very much stays throughout, along with, of course, there's plenty of other trademarks, in like the whole opening with the video, like the how you receive the mission and it self-destructs, or you can go on and on. There's plenty of things that stick around, which is cool. But moving forward, it's funny, like they only sort of add elements, which is which are exciting elements in my opinion. So, but going back to this simple version of it is still very enjoyable. And I don't know, it's funny, like you still think too, like that the opening scene of them Ethan in the room trying to get the information, the name out of that person, while he's got the mask on. Like, as far as I can recall, like it's basically like Fallout has a very similar scene in its opening as well, or in its first act, where they do the same thing.
Yeah.
So like you see these themes and these plot things come up again and again in this franchise, but they're always fun, because it's just, that's what makes Mission Impossible, So yeah, I guess that was the fun part about it. I did want to, right off the bat, sort of focus on what you guys have already brought up about how the film feels different to its successors and that kind of thing. But yeah, I guess I still, in it being stripped back, that is still, it's funny. Like what I'm saying is that it's an element to appreciate about it, but it's also a reason it's going to rank lower for me. But I'm just wondering, like, for you, Jaden, is it also something that makes it like exciting? Is it something that elevates it in a way?
I don't know whether it's just because it is stripped back, but I think the fact that it is stripped back in De Palma style, I think that this is undeniably kind of like the most stylistic of the 7 we've gotten. I don't think it's interesting in that, like, the way I perceive them, there's kind of like this similar thing that I was talking about with the Fast and Furious franchise recently, where like after kind of the mid 2000s one, they start losing their stylistic identity, and I don't necessarily equate. I think there's a similar thing with the Mission Impossible franchise, but like I don't think it's like where it becomes like kind of bland and grey kind of thing like that series does. I think it's just that it becomes more uniform as you kind of take on McQuarrie, and even Brad Bird had a very similar style that I think McQuarrie kept on. So I think in it being stripped back and then having De Palma's style is kind of what works for me,
Yes. Yeah, I see that for sure. You're right. You're actually, I've never really thought about that, but I think McQuarrie, we'll get to it. I feel like McQuarrie did very much follow in what Bird set up.
Yeah, because I think even when you think about J.J. Abrams' film, like it's so steely blue, kind of,
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's still got that like style that I know people don't like credit, like giving J.J. Abrams like credit, which is crazy because he's fantastic, what he does. Great. But like I still think that one has like it's like a pretty distinct kind of language to it. So that's why I identify that point in time as like the changeover. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. No, exactly.
The first,
we'll probably be doing
the first three kind of have like an alien thing almost, where it's like, you know, each different one you can see the stylistic influence that the director kind of brings along, and then it gets more kind of just like modern filmmaking type stuff where you can't really identify it like exactly. But yeah,
I agree. More uniform, like you say. Exactly. That's true. So yeah, I mean, in that, looking at this film and what De Palma brings to it, I'm not well versed in De Palma. Like I haven't seen The Untouchables. Oh, looking at his filmography also, it was interesting to see this sort of. From what I don't want to, judge films by their scores on IMDb when I haven't seen them, but like this looked to me like it was sort of his last well-received film. I don't know, yeah, so it wasn't a lot that impressive after it, and he's not really. I think he's retired, so as far as I understand, so that was interesting. So I guess as someone who's sort of an outsider with De Palma, like trying to identify what is his style in this movie, the closest thing, like obviously I want your guys' thoughts on it, but the thing I was sort of picking out was that, I don't know, there's sort of a stillness and a calm to a lot of the planning scenes, and a lot of there's a lack of score in them. Like I'm thinking specifically of that very first scene with the team in their, I don't know, in their hotel room or wherever they are, and they're like planning the first sequence, and it's just very, I don't know, it's very laid back,
very
with
TV
like the music. Yes, exactly. Like very much feels like it came from the show, And I don't know if that's something if that's a De Palma thing, if that's him trying to replicate the feel of the show. But yeah, that's sort of the main thing I picked up on. I'm sure there's plenty of other things, but I don't know if you guys agree.
Well, I think like I mentioned that in The Departed, like De Palma's kind of known for his like split diopter shots, and there's like a few prominent ones in here. There's even like a split diopter shot where they have like 3 different people in focus. It's like in one of the Kittredge scenes in like the room in Langley. So like I think those are pretty prominent, and like there's a few just stark like filmmaking stuff like Dutch angles and that kind of thing, like I guess in camera stuff as well. So yeah, I mean the first scene does kind of feel not bland, but yeah, like TV-ish in a way, and not that interesting. But I think there are more like obvious De Palma isms as you like go along.
Yeah. Is the split? I mean, I'm still new to the split diopter shot, and I didn't spot any. I can't spot them yet. I can't spot them.
Damn.
I wish I did.
Yeah, you gotta train your brain to see them, because they were all
literally
throughout this film.
Is De Palma like a pioneer of them? Would you say?
I don't know. I think he's just popularized them, maybe, or like.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, that's more what I meant. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, that's cool. Jen, sorry, were you going to jump in?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's kind of the way that the sets are built as well, especially the interiors, that give it that TV quality, where like I feel like as the camera kind of just floats into a room, and you kind of sweep down often with it, and like it kind of just feels like I'm settling into like an episode of like Bold and the Beautiful or something like that, where like the sets feel like really like they feel too obvious, almost like which is like not in a bad way, but like they feel obviously structured, and like they feel like you're seeing like a decorated interior, and then like just that with the movement, with the lack of set, with like the lack of score, and the kind of nature of it, I'm like, this feels like 90s TV.
Yeah, I totally agree. I kind of liked it, especially compared to Where We Go. It's a lot more of these sort of plot-driven scenes have a lot more sort of. I mean, I'm not saying there's a lack of drama here, but there's a more high energy to them, a bit more tension to them at times. Like, obviously, I'm not thinking Michael Bay. I'm not going that far, but you know what I mean. Like I think a modern action film and the later ones lean. I don't know, like maybe in a middle ground somewhere. But this one's definitely more laid back.
As like the difference between like Phelps as like point man and like Cruz and Ethan as well. Like it explains, like there is like a in universe kind of reason that you can explain this away as like why there's this different energy in it, and that you have like Phelps as like being someone that's done the job for years, and just the way he runs his team. I mean, also it's like I don't know. I think it's as well as like a stylistic thing. You can't explain it away as like a canon thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. Because he does very much just bring a calm. Like everyone's very comfortable with him, and I feel like that sort of is reflected in how the scene feels and how it plays out as well. Yeah, that's true. And then it all goes to shit because they all cark it in this opening Prague sequence. In terms of, I sort of think of the film as, I mean, there's a lot of smaller moments as well, but I sort of think of each act having its big sequence. You got Prague, you got Langley, and you've got the train. Is sort of how I break the film up. And this first one, like, yeah, I want to get into it, like as an opening scene, as this film does, leaning into the espionage. How much we dug it, because this whole it's worth saying as well, this whole film, like Ethan never fires a gun. I think some agents, like there's like 2-3 bullets fired in the whole movie or something. I can't even remember where they were, but I read it in trivia. So there's obviously part of what we're talking about, and the differences in this film is very much reflected in the action as well, and how it leans very much into spycraft, espionage, and bringing that to life in its sequences. And yeah, I'm just curious how, after seeing it so many times, how Prague still plays out, if it's still exciting, and if it still hits when everyone dies, basically.
Yeah, it's still kind of exciting because, like, yeah, I think now I'm trying to figure it out in kind of hindsight, having seen the film like a few times before. Like, you notice like the people looking into Ethan and that kind of thing, like the second team and stuff like that.
The guy with the tray is always so obvious to me.
Yeah.
The one.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't notice it at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to remember whether or not there was like a second. There were kind of people who were working for Jim or a second team or whatever, because I couldn't remember. But I think like piecing that whole scene together with like what later is fun in itself. But the sequences are still pretty great. Like when everything starts to go to shit, but especially like with like Emilia Estevez's scene, I think that's when the tension like is pretty solid. And the way the deaths are kind of continuous and spaced out is executed well as well.
Yeah, I agree. I still didn't realize that was Emilio Estevez. Can't believe it. And he was uncredited as well. That's so weird. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny, the way everything played out and everyone died. I always remembered that everyone died, but at the same time, like I forget so much of this movie. I've seen it a few times. I haven't seen it. I've never seen it since I've been on Letterboxd, so it's been over 5 years, and I still like forget. I think I was pretty confident that bloody John Voight, Jim Phelps, like turned on everyone, but like this is where I'm talking, where I've got no idea. I definitely was not looking out for a second team. Every time, for some reason, it came back to me again. Every time, like when it's all done and Claire comes back into the room and she's alive, that gets me every time. I just forget she's in the rest of the movie every time. I'm just like, what the hell? So this film, somehow, I don't know. I mean, it's just a me thing, probably because of a time thing, but like, it still surprised me this time, which was kind of fun, I guess. But later on, when I'm not so stupid as to when it's like Jim Phelps is like standing next to Tom Cruise in the phone booth.
Oh yeah.
In London. Like the second I saw that guy in the trench coat, I'm like, oh, that's right, there he is. Like, I remember that he's about to turn around.
Yeah. I mean, just about the Prague sequence as well. Like, there are a few things that kind of do carry over, like you said before. Like, there's kind of light motifs that kind of carry over throughout the whole series, like the elevator thing. When they're like waiting, they're hacking the thing and they're doing the face thing. They do that exact thing, don't they? In like Rogue Nation, I think. With
yes,
what's his face?
With Benji, when he's like as he's like walking to the facility and he has to like upload it live or whatever.
Yeah, and then kind of just like the walking around the room thing is kind of similar to Mission Impossible 3 as well, where they're like at that event in the Vatican. So like there are definitely like the DNA of the series is like kind of implanted into this scene, and I mean the film in general, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, that's totally true. And of course, I think there were. I'm just trying to think now, because so the trivia is that this film features the only practical effects face pull. What do I keep calling it that? I don't know what else to call it. When he has the fake face on, it's the only practical example in the whole franchise is in this film. It's CGI every other time, but of course there's still a CG version in this film when he's John Voight at the end, and he does that shit. But there must be 3 because there's the opening scene. And do we see him pull off the senator's face? He must in this scene we're talking about.
Yeah, I think so.
We must.
When do we see that?
Unless it comes off screen or something. I don't know.
Oh, I think it happens in like not a very important moment. I think.
Okay.
When he sees the guy in the elevator die, is he as the senator or is he himself there?
I think he pulls it off when he's waiting for the elevator, maybe. Like on the way back. He's already gone through that.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I could just be making this up. But
no, by the time Jack dies, he's definitely Tom Cruise. Because he's outside, like looking at his little monitor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's the. I think it's that one, or maybe it was the. I can't remember. Like if the opening one was obviously him in makeup. I guess is what I'm asking. I don't remember. But like obviously the later one was CG with John Voight, obviously. And then from then on out, always CG forever. So I kind of appreciated. I guess I appreciated seeing Tom Cruise walk around like it's clearly Tom Cruise in makeup, and then he can do the practical thing. That's pretty cool. Get it out of the way, Tom Cruise. We're going to be doing this every time, trying to compare, I guess. But Jan, how do you feel about Tom's first outing as Ethan Hunt?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fantastic. Like, truly. Like, I don't know about his career too much prior to this, but like, he wasn't really an action man, was he? I mean, he had Days of Thunder, I guess, kind of.
Top Gun.
Oh, Top Gun. Sorry, yes, of course, the main one. But then, like everything else, I feel like was like smaller. Color of Money, not Color of Money. What's that one? Yeah, Color of Money. He's in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the other kind of shit like that, Risky Business and stuff.
Rain Man.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. For his first, I mean, like not first, but like for like a rare outing in like the action genre, I think he does brilliantly. I think he steps into the role so seamlessly, so easily. And like I think like a lot of the rest of the stuff with the series is that like he is just Ethan Hunt from the start, and they just stick with it. His character never really changes. He is kind of your all American kind of Boy Scout. He is just and he can do it all, and he does it well. And it's just, I think it's just like a really great character. Like I don't know, there's just I don't know. There's a really enigmatic kind of spy, that you don't get to see too much these days if it's not like an established character.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you can think of other examples, Fitzhugh, if you disagree, but just, I mean, that's funny because his character is so consistent. I didn't watch this once. There was not one moment in this movie where I thought, oh, that's kind of not the same as the Ethan that I know later, or something. Any remote moment like that. Like when he, in terms of, I like how you put it as a Boy Scout, because he always does that. He's always, when there's a decision to be made in terms of, go back and help someone, or finish the job, or any of those sort of conflicts that a spy character is often put into. What decision Ethan Hunt would make every time. And you see that right from the start in Prague when, the operation's going to shit and Jim's telling him to abort and he doesn't abort, And it's funny that I feel like that wasn't even, as it was happening, I was sort of thought, like, is this going to be played as a bigger mistake than I remember? I don't really think that the film really touched on that, really, in terms of, it didn't really feel like it was meant to be like the character made a mistake there. In terms of like like he caused them to die or he had a hand in that because you know what I mean? Like I feel like they were sort of just going to die anyway. Well, as it was happening again, I was sort of like, I was curious to see, oh yeah, I forgot he doesn't abort. So does that mean that he's going to blame himself in some way for what happens? But it doesn't really play out that way.
No. But I think that would have been part of Jim's
justifies.
plans. You know, Jim would have known Ethan wouldn't have wanted that list to get in like the open. So like he would have accounted for like all that shit.
That's definitely true. Yeah. 100%.
So I think especially once he realized Jim's alive, like he realizes it's not going to be his fault.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So I guess in that sense, it doesn't. I guess in that sense, it's not as pivotal of a character moment for him as it might have been. But they do flash back to it at some point later, don't they?
In the franchise or like?
Yeah.
Well, I was just trying to think about that because in Dead Reckoning, does he have a flashback when he like thinks of all the women he loses or something like that? Yeah,
that rings a bell. Yeah. We'll get. I can't see. That makes me excited to rewatch that. I think that's true. Yeah. So did did him and Kristen Scott Thomas in this film, were they like a thing? I don't think so. I didn't really get that from it.
Kind of.
You reckon a little bit?
Yeah, because Jim gives a little. I knew my wife's charm would be irresistible, given that I've tasted it. You know, all that shit. So like, she charms Tom in a way, and like she does the whole like, kind of with his hand.
Those aren't the same people. That Christian's.
Oh no,
the one that dies.
You're talking about Claire. Yeah.
Wait, which one's Kristen Scott?
So the I don't. What's her name in the movie? Hannah, or is that no? Was that the other one? I think that's the other one.
I don't know. Yeah.
There's 3 women on the team. Okay. I think Kristen Scott Thomas is the one he's like sort of with at the start. He gets stabbed.
Oh, okay.
That was sort of the duo in the Prague sequence.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, it's just funny. I'm just thinking, like, does she count as like one of the important women in his life that he lost? You know. Oh, there wasn't really enough time in this film to do that.
Yeah, could be. Well, I would theorize that someone we probably just haven't seen, but yeah. Well, like on Ethan being like the same, I think I don't know. He feels slightly different in this film to me. Like I think he's way more brash in this film than he feels in anything else. But like that could just be topped up to like just 90s Tom Cruise and him being like so young, I guess.
So young. He's like 40 when he starts the role.
Oh, really? Is that how?
No,
I mean not 40, but like
no. He's like he hang on. Guess how old he was for this. I reckon he was 33. That's
I think it was 35, 36.
Okay.
Okay. I'll wait. 30. All right, 34 then. I don't know. Yeah, I'll go in the middle. I mean, I'm least likely to win though, because
wait, July, it came out in May. He was 33. He's going to turn 34 in 2 months. Let's go.
But I don't know. He looks super young, right? Like, come on, like especially
100%.
Especially like I think after 3, he kind of that's when he feels like exactly kind of the same character. But and he feels a lot older there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he has a lot of just like energy in this film, and he's especially in that like the briefing scene. You know, he's very kind of, you know, his body language is like, you know, he's kind of dominating the room or whatever, and he's very like brash. So yeah, it's slightly different, I think, for me, but I think there is a consistency to the character and his Boy Scoutishness, his resourcefulness, and that kind of, he's constantly kind of on the move and, you know, thinking and stuff. So yeah,
100%, and we see that play out in the plot. You know, when he figures out sort of the whole thing pretty early, in terms of Jim being alive, quicker than the audience does. You know. Or Jim at least being behind it. Like, I don't know if he knew. I don't think he knew Jim was alive until he showed up in the phone booth. But before that, even he was, you know, suspicious of Jim.
Right. He was onto Job straight away, dude. He just heard Job and he thought it was like Job, dude. And he gets a random email address and Max at.
Oh yeah, Max at 314. Yeah.
Jeez, that's pretty. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but he plays. I mean, he was up all night. He plays like a tired He plays like a tired man very very well in that, where he's like, he's trying to stay awake, and just using every like last brain cell that he has.
Yeah, that's totally true. Just on that quickly, I really liked the scene with him and John Voight sitting down having a coffee in London right after that he comes back, and just I love the way the choice that to put that together to where like they're saying one thing, but then like the cutaways are like showing what Ethan's actually figuring out and thinking. That was clever. I like that a lot. And they sort of, I don't know, they never had a clear moment where, because that's usually the moment in the movie, like almost exactly in that spot in the script as well, it would probably be where like the character has the realization and then you get the flashbacks. But the difference, so in that sense, it's kind of a traditional scene, but the difference is that the character would actually just be saying what then the flashbacks are showing. And then this happened and then they show it. Oh, and then, but back then, and but it was but it was kind of the opposite. Like it was showing you the real thing, but he was maintaining the falsities for the actual, for what he was actually saying to Jim in the moment. So yeah, I just thought that was a cool subversion of that kind of a trope of a scene. Paramount Pictures owned the rights to the television series and had tried for years to make a movie version, but had failed to come up with a viable treatment. Tom Cruise had been a fan of the show since he was young and thought that it would be a good idea for a movie. Cruise chose Mission Impossible to be the first project of his new production company and convinced Paramount to put up $80 million for the budget.
That's a huge budget for a 90s, isn't it?
But yeah.
That's a huge budget for today.
Not really, because the creator was made on that, and it was known for its small budget. Yeah. But definitely. And for what the movie sort of is, and for the time, of course, absolutely.
Yeah. Did Tom Cruise always wanted to be an action star? Like, was that his end goal? Because I think I heard him say something along those lines once. So like, yeah, this would have been like his dream come true, I guess. And I mean, it continues to be. But
it continues to be. Yeah, I bet he would say that. Yeah, exactly. That's the funny thing. That's sort of why I included that, was because in a way, like his production company, it was the first film he ever produced, and now he's like, Cruise is known for like any film he does, he produces. Like, he doesn't really do anything unless he's a producing partner on it and heavily involved from the start, kind of thing. So this was kind of the birth of that for him, and so as a result, he was kind of instrumental in bringing about this franchise in the first place. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that he was cast in and then became known for. Like it didn't really play out that way. He was very much one of the people that brought it to the forefront from the very beginning, which is why he obviously continues to be super important, producing it behind the scenes and all that.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that because I didn't think of him as someone with like that level of like vision. I thought he just kind of started producing it later on, but I think
because that's usually what happens.
Yeah, but I think if what I heard is true, that like he'd always wanted to be an action star, then this kind of supports that idea that he had the vision from the start, and it's cool.
Yeah,
Cruise is kind of like that joke from Deadpool and Wolverine, where they say that Hugh Jackman's going to be doing this shit till he's 90, but like Cruise is going to be doing it like voluntarily because he loves doing it. He's not getting roped in by a studio. Yeah.
That's totally true. Yeah, 100%. You're not going to be able to stop him. I agree. Well, I mean, Final Reckoning, we'll see. Who knows how final it is. I'll throw this in here while we're on it. Cruise deferred his $20 million fee, his usual $20 million fee, for a percentage of the box office on this film, and ended up earning a reported $70 million. Very nice. Very nice. He almost made the entire budget back for himself. Well done there, Tom. Good job. In terms of the other people in this picture, John Voight, of course. Good fun. Good stuff. He's still acting. I looked at his filmography, and
really?
He's still pumping out stuff.
I was 100% expecting him to be dead.
Oh, Jesus. Not well received stuff lately, but nonetheless,
misinterpreted his age severely.
He was in apparently he's in Megalopolis. Obviously, I haven't seen it.
Oh, really?
But yeah. So get excited for that. But yeah, he's great. I don't know. I kind of just think of I think of Heat for some reason with John. I mean, I know it's not for some reason. It's obviously because Heat's awesome, but I think of Heat with John Voight, and this is kind of, I don't know. He brings a certain just calm, collected energy to it, which sort of comes apart right at the end, which is sort of the entertaining part of that.
It's like the one scene where you see his true character, on like in that train compartment. But like,
Mm.
yeah, I've seen John Voight in like Midnight Cowboy as well, which is probably the other big one.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, for
like
sure.
John Voight in those, in these three, in those two films, Heat and Midnight Cowboy, and this one, he is like completely different in those three roles. So, yeah, I mean, he's really great. I wish I knew more about him, but I don't really. Yeah, I don't know much apart from those roles.
Yeah,
Or what he's been up to lately.
yeah, I'm the same. I'm sure we'll continue to discover him, in years to come. That's how I view a lot of those things anyway. I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't really know much about you, but I'm sure over the next 20 years I'll watch more of your movies, go back and, appreciate you more.
This was his most active year in a long time. He's got 5 films coming out this year.
As in 2024?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, nice. Good for him. Is he doing that, like, is he maybe, I don't know, Bruce Willising it, where he's like trying to rake in that cash? Yeah. Trying to secure his family's future right now. Dude, it's funny. In terms of, what I need to get her name right, who plays Claire. Emmanuel, Fizzy is a French word.
Yeah, Bear. I don't know.
Bear? Yeah. I like that. She looks really familiar to me, even though I don't think I've really seen her in anything.
Yeah. I think this is like, I think that, the other film she's been in aren't that popular compared to this. Yeah.
No. I think it's like, does she just look like people? Like, does she kind of gives me Felicity Jones energy a little bit. Like, maybe I'm just seeing other people in her to make me feel like I've seen her before. That's the only thing I could think of, because she just looks so familiar.
Yeah. She looks like a lot of models, I think.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. That's probably true. Yeah. And then, of course, we had the big debut in this franchise of Ving as Luther,
Is that how you pronounce it? Ving.
What do you say?
Well, I don't know. Because I've never actually had to say it, or like I've never heard it said out loud.
Vinge? No, it's Ving. It's Ving.
Okay.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've always read it. Like, I think I've always read it as like Vaughn. Like, I don't like obviously I can see very clearly it's Ving, but I'm like Vaughn. I'm like maybe it's like some Irish thing where you like if you combine the letters, it makes like a different sound.
I can give you the benefit of the doubt if it's like your brain couldn't process it because Ving is such a weird name, where it's like Ving, it can't be Ving, But no, it's Ving Rhames, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, his full name's Irving, so I guess it's Ving.
Oh yeah, well there you go. There, yeah, nice. Yeah. Anyway, he's here as Luther. One part of the plot I don't think I understood. This film's pretty straightforward, which I appreciate for its plot, because sometimes I some things go over me. One thing I didn't quite understand: him and the other dude. Oh my god, what's his name? Yeah. Krieger is his. I got the character's name. They're recruited simultaneously by Ethan and Claire. At what stage is Krieger a double agent? You know what I mean? Because I was just trying to figure out, like, was he turned later because... I didn't understand this at all, because I'm trying to figure out I don't know if him and Ving were... It was presented to me like him and Ving were a team. But then, like, why...
he stabbed... He was at Prague. He stabbed, in the flashback. Yeah. Is that... Wait, what are you asking?
Yeah. So he was at Prague. So then how did he get involved to...
Because
be recruited?
Ethan recruited them through the CIA disavowed list.
Yes.
Yeah, Emmanuel was influencing it, probably. Like, she was influencing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can infer that, like, she probably recommended him or something.
Actually,
or he's just got like enough of a reputation that like Phelps and him could have both been like, oh yeah, this guy's,
Yeah, but they say that she recommended him.
Did they?
Well, they say that's not... Ethan says, like, that's not what I've heard about you from Claire. And he says
that's right.
Both of them.
He does say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. So okay, so I assume... Interesting. Okay. So then I guess... But yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just curious then, like, from her point of view, in her planning it, like, then... But she was obviously okay with having the other person, the other role, not be someone on their side. because obviously Ving wasn't.
Mm.
So, you know what I mean? They didn't cover both bases there. Get a hacker as well who's also in on it.
Well, they probably were hoping that they could just get the switch done at Langley, and then Ethan baited them. You know, it's like that's why like they didn't really need the hacker to be on their side as well, because like he was never really going to be that involved.
Yeah, they just needed like the best hacker possible or whatever, and he was like, "That's what."
Right. Yeah, the hacker didn't really matter for them. Yeah, because that's right. And only Ethan got him involved later. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then of course there's the whole scene where like Ethan trusts him, which well deserved. We're going to trust him for the next 30 years in this franchise going forward. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I guess this whole character side of the movie is sort of what I sort of mentioned a bit earlier was just that I don't know. I feel like I don't think the film's trying too hard, so it's not like it's not a huge knock on it, but there's certainly something later in the franchise that unlocks a little bit with connecting with the characters more. I mean, the characters aren't the first thing I think of when I think of Mission Impossible. It's not like I'm like, shedding tears when X dies, in Dead Reckoning or whatever. But at the same time, like I definitely connect with those moments and think those scenes work dramatically and, and buy them and all that kind of thing. This film is sort of where that lacked for me, and it was probably more so just in the Claire Cruz thing in terms of that betrayal. And I don't know, because they have a couple sort of more intimate scenes sprinkled throughout that I think are sort of intended for you to buy into it, but I don't know how. I guess what I'm saying is that it didn't work for me, but I also don't know how hard the film's really trying to get you to invest in that side of it. It is, at least to some extent, with those scenes, I think, but it didn't really work for me. I sort of never trusted Claire fully, which I don't think you meant to, but the whole thing, I don't know. I never really felt the betrayal so deeply, I guess.
Yeah. No, she doesn't feel as like strong about like of a romantic interest to Ethan as like any of the other later characters.
Yeah. Even like Thandie Newton coming up, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's just kind of there. But I mean the Claire and Jem manipulation thing, like how like the fact that Claire doesn't want Ethan dead and that Claire is like somewhat under Jim's control is kind of, that's where like maybe some attempted emotion or something is, because like you see the same thing later with Rebecca's character as well. So yeah, there are traces of it, but it's not really there as much.
Yeah, that's right. I think they do better later on with Rebecca's character, like you said. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, we can talk about the iconic Langley sequence. This heist is still sick as hell, dude. I don't know. It's the way it's put together is just simple, precise, tension. Just, I don't know, Brian nailed it, really. Like all the different elements that come together that they establish in terms of setting up that vault room. It doesn't have what's the name of it? Like the black something? The black vault or something? I thought it had a name, the actual room. Sick ass set for that room, which I read was inspired by 2001. I don't know if you guys can see that. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, like easily. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. So yeah, I know just the way all those little elements come together of like the way De Palma does that shot where like this is just one tiny example of like when like the mouse comes around the corner behind, and then the focus changes and it's like I know there's so many like little moments of that of him introducing those elements.
The focus changes, but Jean Reno's face is still in focus, and so is the rats. So that's a split diopter shot. Yeah. Oh! But it's actually so funny that they did that, like a split diopter shot with the rat and Jean Reno. Like that was almost comedic. But yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, but
gotcha. So I guess the part of it that I didn't recognize, and I've got it. This is the part I've got to train my brain on, is I didn't register that Jean was still in focus.
Yeah. So there's a blur in the middle.
The rat coming into focus.
And I guess if you look at the rat, you might see, you might just like, your peripheral vision might just look at the blur and not think that anything else is in focus. But yeah, they're both in focus.
Got it. Right. Okay. That's what I've got to keep an eye out for here. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, the way they play with the temperature, like the temperature reader thing, the drops of the drop on his glasses. It's all just quite, it makes you laugh because it's just classic stuff. And it just, when you're watching it, you just can't help but get invested in it,
Mm.
Is it still a classic scene for you, Jaden? You get into it every time?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
good.
Don't really have much to add to that. Yeah.
I mean, I think my favorite part of it is just the focus on the worker guy who they made sick, because he's just such a regular schmo, and I guess it's injecting some like comedic element into it or something. But I think it makes the scene much better with him.
Yeah.
Seeing his
when he comes out of the bathroom and then goes
antics.
back.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Yeah. Oh, this one thing to shout out about this scene as well, that talking about sort of trademarks of this franchise and probably just, spy films in general, and action films in general. But I love the way, like, every single time they do this stuff where it's like they talk about the plan and then they have the scene where like the guy's walking in to Langley and then they show all the different rooms that they've got to get through. Like they lay out the objective and how hard it is basically for the audience. I love that shit every single time. They're like, oh, then there's this and then there's this security check and then what was there was the voice what was it again, the voice recognition or whatever it was. They go, like laying out all those different barriers. That's a lot of fun, and I love the cut of like they end that scene by having the drop from the cup hit the floor and the alarm go off, and then they hard cut, and that was just they basically leave you on that note of like, this is how difficult this shit's going to be. You know what I mean? And let's obviously, as Luke's pointed out many times in his Letterboxd review, let's see Tom Cruise do it anyway. You know what I mean?
How do you guys feel about each one of those?
Well, that's the thing. How do you guys feel about Luke insisted that I have to read it? I disagree. I'm not.
I mean, he did resubmit it as a screenshot, so I mean, like,
that's the only case you can make. The fact he put the effort to resubmit it. Like, there's no way I'm going back. But yeah, he did resubmit it. Yeah. Oh well, I'll do it right now. Luke said, "I was lied to. The mission was in fact possible. 6 out of 10. Too low of a score, but there you go." Now, Luke, if you do me a favour and not resubmit each one, that'd be great. If you do, I feel like now we've established I have to read them, so great.
If you do, I'll read them.
Even better. That's great.
James, I'll just sneak it into like my dialogue.
Okay, that's fine. And then I feel like this naturally leads us to the final train action sequence and why it feels different, why it might not work as well. I think the important thing to sort of establish with it right off the bat, and sort of changed the way I saw it after I read the trivia, was just the fact that like Cruise very much wanted to do this on a train, like the way he would later. You know what I mean? And it was just production issues that got in the way that led to it sort of being a blue screen situation. So yeah, I think that's worth pointing out because I think that's the main thing that holds it back. But it also wasn't the intent. You know, I sort of assumed watching it that they never intended to do it the other way, and that's more something that developed as the franchise went on, of like Cruise wanting to step things up every time. But apparently he was that ambitious from the start. So,
how many train sequences are there in the franchise? Is it just the two bookends at the moment, or is there more in between?
No, I think you're right. Can't think of any others. Yeah,
I mean they go on a train in like Ghost Protocol, but I think it's just like a room. I don't think there's any like stunts or anything.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah. My view is that this sequence kind of like it's serviceable. It's like it's not bad at all. It's just kind of a solid 90s action finale scene. Whereas I think what the film was doing prior was more interesting, and what it does later is definitely more exciting.
Yeah.
I like the stuff inside with Ving and like the kind of hacking and jamming shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what? Maybe this is just like me number. What happens with like? Because they're banging on the toilet door, right? Does anything come of that? Or like the tall blonde kind of goon? Like what happens with those? I feel like they just kind of fizzle out now.
You might be right.
Because like the blonde guy like sitting down. When he gets in the next compartment, I feel like that's the last thing we see of him. Like we don't see any fist fighting or anything on the train. So
No, so Kittredge and the other guy are trying to get into the toilet until they see Phelps unmask himself. So that
right. But I feel like they
but then they go back and they get Max, don't they? But like, and the other guy, they don't really. Yeah, I think the blonde goon gets.
But there's like I think the in between that is like the kind of reveal in the other compartment with, with Jim and Claire, and so there's like a massive cutaway, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was slightly like disappointing, I guess, that we didn't get to see like a goon fight or anything. You find that does it make you laugh every time during that word?
Yeah.
Because I did want to see that guy do something, but
he sort of didn't. That's true. Yeah, the part that sucked the most was in that stupid bloody train server guy like picked up Ming's phone. It's like, oh, excuse me, you forgot your phone. You dipshit.
You mean providing good service?
Oh, mate, just totally blew the whole thing.
But it led to a funny joke where everyone's phone was going off.
Yeah, that was funny actually. Yeah, good for them. Yeah, I guess they figured out like the pacing of those scenes pretty early. I mean, it was Brian's only film in this franchise, but you know what I mean. Like, I feel like that aspect of it was fun. Like, it was all well paced out, had some humor injected, all that kind of thing.
I mean, talking about like TV plots, so like the way that it does kind of feels like on the train does feel very like TV-ish, the way they're like apprehended and stuff, and like the whole
true.
we'll skip the courts, that line. I think Kittredge, I like Kittredge in this film. I think like early on he's a good kind of a red herring as well as a villain. So his presence is fun.
It gives way to Tom Cruise's banging line of "You haven't seen me very upset."
Yeah, I think the one-liners of Cruise in this film are pretty great. Or like in the preparation scene as well. What did he say? Oh, don't worry, it's much worse than that. He talks about Langley. Yeah,
doesn't really compare to the one we get in number 3, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I don't know which one you're talking about, but I don't remember that. I'm excited to rewatch. I think 3 is great, so I'm excited. Max was supposed to be a man in the script, which is kind of funny given like isn't that like the whole point of the character? Is that it's like that subversion? It's kind of like if it actually was a man, then like I don't know. I feel like that's the whole interesting thing about it, kind of. Yeah. And played by Vanessa Redgrave, who is old Bryony in Atonement, Fitzy.
I figured that out. Yeah. I was like, "Are you Bryony?" Yeah. Where have I seen you?
Yeah. That was cool. I was surprised that like something I totally never remembered was that Ethan's parents get like a shout out in this movie.
That he has parents, yeah. It's crazy.
I thought that came in a later film. I didn't realize it was this early. I thought that was a plot line from like Fallout.
I don't think it ever happened ever. Like, does it happen later, or were you just like, does it happen later again, or were you just confusing it?
No, I just thought it was then when they were trying to get Cruise in that one.
Right. It's so funny going back to that. I don't think they ever come up again. I could be wrong. Maybe there's something small, but it's definitely nothing big if they do. Yeah, like you said, the fact he has parents is like, I don't know, this guy could be an orphan for all I knew prior, but there you go.
Yeah.
Parents confirmed.
I mean, most like spy characters are usually orphans, right? Like, isn't James Bond an orphan? And I mean, isn't Jason Bourne basically an orphan?
I think. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how he gets recruited to the program or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember, but yeah, I feel like it's pretty like, they usually don't have like pass or whatever. So yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I remember what I was going to say. Kittredge he's in Dead Reckoning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was wondering. Like, is he a villain in that, or is he just also like misinformed in that one? Mm-hmm. Does he play a similar kind of role? And it's almost like a homage to this one because he's also like on the train and like trying to apprehend the wrong people. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he is a bit more villainous in that one, just in the way that it's set up. Like in this one, he's kind of completely absolved, whereas in that one, like there's still quite a bit of ambiguity because it still ends with Cruise's kind of ideal.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Tom Cruise doing his own stunts, the magic trick was performed entirely by him in camera. I mean, I would be disappointed if he didn't. I mean, it looked like a real magic trick. I didn't really think it was anything else.
Does he do that same trick in Dead Reckoning with the keys in the airport?
That rings a bell.
Oh yeah.
That rings a bell.
Dead Reckoning is the most, Mission Impossible one-ish film, I guess.
Honestly, it might be. Yeah. I thought the damn helicopter flying through the tunnel was ridiculous, but inspired by this movie, a helicopter successfully flew through a tunnel in Brazil in 2006. Yeah, but like, how fast was it going? You know what I mean? Like, what was I want to see that. What were the parameters there? I don't know if they did it like this. I'll say.
Right, have you seen the GTA videos where like they fly the plane through the train tunnel?
The Battlefield 4.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This trivia sounded fake to me. I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. While filming the famous scene where Tom Cruise drops from the ceiling and hovers inches above the ground, Cruise's head kept hitting the floor until he got the idea to put coins in his shoes for balance.
Well, I'll believe it, I guess.
Yeah. Who am I to call bullshit on that?
I don't know. It just sort of sounds like, I don't know. Is that real? Like, he really... I don't know. It sounds a bit extreme. Like, did the coins really make that much?
Because his head's so big. He's got so many ideas. And he's just got a big ego as well. So he has to balance it out.
Scientology ego.
I mean, your head weighs about 5 to 6 kilos, and your feet weigh. So maybe if you can balance it out, maybe.
God, how much do coins weigh though?
No, that's you're not putting 5 kilos worth of coins. It's just enough to balance it out,
Oh, okay. Right.
When did he go to Scientology? Was he a Scientologist for this movie, or?
I don't know. Good question. Maybe you shouldn't know, because then, like the latest Mission Impossible, where we know he's a Scientologist, but then we have to view it differently. We don't want to do that,
Maybe that's what inspired the change in style.
Yeah. Perhaps. Yeah. So I guess the ending, the final ending of him like sitting on the plane and then he's going to get a mission. The idea from that, I assume, is that IMF like recognized what he did and promoted him. I guess because like obviously Jim got the brief previously. Like that wasn't Ethan's role to get the brief.
Oh right.
So,
yeah, I guess so.
That's kind of what I insinuated.
So
yeah.
So in 2, like at the start of 2, he's retired, isn't he?
I don't know.
Like I'm pretty sure
he's climbing Uluru or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's in Australia at that point. I think it's just something like
he's gone like off map because they need to like they send like a helicopter to send him like the next mission or whatever.
That's right. Yeah.
And in Dead Reckoning, like we're told about his past where like someone died. So I wonder if that's going to be like between 1 and 2 rather than like pre-1.
I don't know.
That could make sense. I mean, 3 then has sort of another time jump. Like there's 3, like a lot happens between that one as well and 2, if I recall.
Yeah, I mean it's 6 years later, like both in real life and in universe because he has a wife and shit.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Getting married.
Yeah, so a lot goes on off screen for Ethan Hunt, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. But yeah. Okay. Oh, we went this whole time and somehow haven't mentioned the music. The score, Danny Elfman's score was very good. Fitzy pointed out some recurring leitmotifs that come up later. I definitely heard a few throughout. That was fun. I thought the score was very good. I don't know. What do you describe that as? It's like throughout the Langley scene in particular, Danny was inserting some of that like 60s, like not a drum. That's wrong. Like that little patter sound, that little like oh shit. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like a bass kind of bassy sound, or
no? It's like sort of like a high pitch, like Spy, sort of like. Sorry.
Like the hi-hats on the drum, like the cymbal things, is that? And
maybe
is that what you're talking?
Yeah. That's closer to what I think. That could be correct. Yeah. But it's like that classic 60s spy thing of like,
Okay, I didn't really notice the sound.
Is the series a 60s thing or is it a 70s thing?
60s. Well, it started in I don't know how long it went, but it did start in the 60s. So anyway, yeah, I thought Danny's score was solid, and then you had the dope version of, I mean, the theme obviously goes without saying, but then like they have that really cool like electronic version at the end in the credits. That was like that was a real bop. That one. That was like, oh yeah, get into this shit. Only other note I had really was just about just how shocking it was to me about how old school the tech is and the internet. Like the portrayal of like the email and the internet was so funny. I'm just like, it's funny how far we've come, man. It's wild.
I love him having to search up internet access. like I guess that's through like the CIS program, whatever, and like that's the way you have to get there. But like
yeah. Wonder if it still works like that. If you got a CIA like system on your computer, and you got to like how do you get to Google, go through all these things.
Yeah, or like would they even use Google, or would it be like their own software?
Yeah,
or whatever?
Yeah. Surely they have like an intranet type thing.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, they probably would. All right, Mission Impossible 1, final verdicts, Jaden.
I'll give it an 8. An 8 is what I've had on it for a while. I think I initially had it as a 7 when I first watched the series, and then like on rewatch it's come up a bit. Not really any complaints with it. It's just that this is where it is.
Yeah. I'm a perfect 7 on this. Pretty unmoving, very enjoyable movie, for sure. Fitzy.
Yeah, I'll keep it as an 8 as well. Yeah.
Nice. Very good. All right. One down. I'm watching him with Jake. He's never seen them. And we finished this, and I said, how many are left now? I said 1 down, 6 to go, not counting Final Reckoning.
Yeah.
I said 1 down, 6 to go, and he looked at me shocked. He's like, I thought there were 4 of these. Like, no, dude. But by the end, you're going to love it. Don't worry.
What did Jake's rate tips, or what did he think of this film?
It was basically the same as me. He enjoyed it. He'd give it a 7, he said. Yeah. But I think he was still like flabbergasted. There was like, we had so many to go. I don't think he knew what he was signing up for. But I was like trying to convince him, like, dude, don't worry. Like by the end, you're not going to regret it. I swear. Let's get into news chat. You guys both saw the trailer for 28 Years Later. I haven't seen it. But you guys are like, I don't know anything about this franchise, so you guys take it away. What do you think?
I've only seen the first one. I've only seen 28 Days Later. Haven't seen Weeks, but I mean, it was a pretty glorious trailer. Actually, it was trailer art more or less. Like,
oh wow, nice.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. It just looks like it's doing. I don't know. Like, it looks like it has a very strong turn, and it's doing some interesting stuff with like cults and stuff, and they're on like an island, and I mean, it just looks like a unique kind of apocalypse product. So it's exciting.
Yeah. I'll go a step further and say it's like the best trailer I've seen. I think it kills Finch's trailer for fucking Go with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh my god, you think it kills it?
To be fair,
shit.
I've never really thought that trailer was all that. So I'll add that context. But like, I think this is like easily like, especially like with in memory. Maybe there's something I've forgotten.
Best trailer ever. Like,
like what else rivals
Holy
it?
Shit.
I mean, because everyone points to Finch's thing, but like I don't care too much for that. So like, what else do you say that can rival it?
We had a whole thing about it, but I don't really remember. I mean, Alien was one I brought up. I mean, Fincher, not just Dragon Tattoo, but like the Social Network trailer is great.
I'd encourage you to watch the trailer, Zach, even without having seen the other ones, because it doesn't really matter.
I will. I will now. I was kind of just thinking I'd avoid it because I'll just watch, know. But yeah, now that you're saying this,
I watched it like 4 times this week. Wow. I keep on going back to it. I love this franchise. Do you know like how seminal 28 Days Later was to like the zombie franchise and like kind of reinvigorating it?
Not real. I mean, like exactly what you said. I have heard, but that's I don't really know.
It is really a fantastic product, and 28 Weeks Later, I think is phenomenal as well. It's got some phenomenal sequences. I love this franchise, and I'm so keen for it. I think this looks exceptional. I think there is like for something that was so influential at the time, it looks like they are taking influences from some modern zombie films. Like, it seems like The Infected may have evolved in like the way like The Last of Us may have like evolved between 1 and 2. But I think it all looks exceptional. incredibly keen for it.
Nice. Did Danny Boyle do Weeks Later as well?
No, he skipped that one. That was directed by a Spanish bloke, I'm pretty sure, who's done some other famous things.
Okay.
But it's still Garland's script, I'm pretty sure, for 8 Weeks Later.
Yeah, okay, all right, so Garland carries through. And then the only other, I mean, I'll watch this trailer, but the only other curious note that I had was that I noticed on the poster that Cillian Murphy's name wasn't on it, and I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, so I think Comer and Johnson are leading it, and Murphy will play some role. I don't know.
I mean,
yeah. Sorry,
he's not even in the trailer.
He's in the trailer.
That zombie that looks like that, not infected, but like that kind of that skinny guy that pops up in the field. That's not him.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
Because it was confirmed on this. Some guy came forward, some art dealer that's coming through, like that's like trying to act. He's like, no, that's me. That's not Cillian.
Really? Oh, it looks exactly like Cillian Murphy. That's crazy. Or maybe that guy was trolling. I don't know, because it looks exactly like him. But yeah, that's funny.
Wow. Okay. I mean, from the outside looking in, I just assumed Cillian's like the lead of this series, so I thought that was surprising. But
Cillian's only in the first one.
Oh, okay. That makes a bit more sense. Okay. All right.
Garland didn't write the second one. Sorry, I was wrong.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Oh, that's curious. That's a very interesting arc for that series then. Okay. I'm curious. Cool. Well, I'm sure we might even review it. I'm sure we'll cover it extensively.
I hope we do. Like the thing is, it's like we can't really do it as a franchise because it's going to overlap with Mission Impossible. But
when's it coming?
I think it's April.
Really? Okay. Oh yes. I mean, yeah. I can just catch up and then we can just do it by itself. Nice. All right. Very good. The Golden Globe nominations came out this week. I figure, as we usually do, we'll just have a live reaction, have a bit of a scroll, see what grabs our attention. Comes out in June.
Yeah. Which then definitely kind of impacts. Yeah.
We could. Yeah. I mean, we could like smash them over weeks consecutively if we wanted to. I guess. Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll consider that. Okay, Golden Globes. I'm not even goes without saying their splitting of drama and musical or comedy is the most triggering shit ever, as usual. But we all know that by now. So you guys have seen none of this? I haven't seen it either. I just want to know if we're all on the same page.
I saw people complaining about some stuff, but like not really.
All right, no worries. Okay, best motion picture drama. May as well start there. Nominated is A Complete Unknown, which is the
Bob Dylan
the main gold film, right? Yeah. Conclave, June Part 2, Nickel Boys, which I don't know what that is. That's the only one I've never heard of on this list. Who's that in the poster? Can't make him out. September 5th and The Brutalist.
I don't know what September 5th is either, actually.
I saw that one's the it's like a thriller set in one of those terrorist attacks.
Okay.
Obviously not the September 11 one. What is that? What terrorist attack was that? It's like one of the some sort of attack in Europe.
Munich Olympics.
Like 72 Olympics, like the Spielberg film.
Yeah, but I think it's literally like the whole thing. The idea is that the whole thing's just about the attack only, like the night of kind of thing. So yeah, I can't figure out. I'm still trying to figure out when. I don't know.
Oh, John McGarr is in this.
Yeah, cool. All right, there you go. I think is the Brutalist. The Brutalist has got a lot of buzz, right? That's sort of what I've vaguely heard.
I think it's got a lot of awards. I mean,
it's like festival winning stuff.
Okay. So I think people are pretty hyped for that. All right, fair enough. In Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy, A Real Pain, Anora, Challenges, Amelia Perez, The Substance, and Wicked. How is The Substance here? Oh, A Real Pain is the Kieran Culkin, Jesse Eisenberg road trip thing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, Challenges is comedic, I guess, but
yeah. Which one is it more there for? Is it there for being a comedy or being a musical? Because it's neither.
Well, it's not a musical. Yeah,
it's not a musical. People aren't singing in it.
I know, but I'm just thinking the score is such a character in the film. Is that the argument? Because it's not a comedy.
No, but musical is not about.
I agree with you. I'm just trying to piece this shit together. Like, I would argue I got more of a musical experience from it. I totally agree with you, Jan, but just in the sense of I got more from the music than the comedy by far. So like,
yeah, that one's odd.
Weird.
Anora kind of makes sense to me because there's like massive kind of protracted comedic sequences, I guess.
Okay.
But the substance, I've seen like an hour or so of the substance.
How funny was it?
It wasn't very funny, but yeah, no, like I guess like if I like reach like the way you're reaching for like the musical thing, maybe they mean because of how like exaggerated everything is, and it's kind of, you could see it as a kind of farce kind of thing, but
it's not very script excerpts, and it like the script reads like a comedy, or like as like kind of like this like kind of like not comedy like as the kind of like the outrageousness of some of the scenes is meant to be like
like this is the highly satirical kind of nature of it. I guess I understand, but it isn't like a true comedy. I guess it's not that funny, but like I guess the thing is that like there aren't I don't think there's that many like true comedies being produced these days anyway, especially ones that would like make it into the award circuit. You know what I mean? Like we don't have like stoner comedies as much anymore. I mean, there was like My Old Ass, but like, you know, there aren't that as many, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Sandler's not getting nominated for stuff anymore, you know?
Yeah,
no,
unfortunately.
Until he works with the Safdies again. Yeah,
and then that goes into comedy because the films are a joke.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, I teed you up for that.
Yeah.
Is it from if we take these 10 films as being like, which I assume like 80 to 90% of them will be the Best Picture nominees. Like in terms of surprise, like I don't know, I'm surprised Emilia Perez is there. I haven't heard anything about that movie, but maybe I'm wrong.
I've heard like only from like the kind of more musical aspect of it about like the quality of songs not being the highest and some of the acting being a bit questionable.
Okay.
But then like I think it did pretty well at like festivals, didn't it?
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I didn't know it was a musical, so that makes me not interested in it, to be honest.
It's a biopic about Emilia Perez, isn't it? Or
but
whatever it's called.
Who's she?
Someone.
Some singer or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Damn. Fitzy, where I mean, not...
Oh, maybe it's not a biopic. I thought it was.
No?
No, it's not, apparently.
Oh, shit. You just made that shit up.
Yeah.
Fitzy, I know you saw Anora. Like, where do you sit on that in terms of its awards potential?
Oh yeah, I think it has a lot of awards potential. I think Madeline, yeah, I think she'll definitely get some buzz, and the film will for sure get something. Yeah.
Mikey Madison.
Oh yeah, Mikey Madison. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Like she'll probably be nominated, and the film will probably be in the Oscars circuit somewhere for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. I'm just here. I'm just trying to see if there's any standouts in the performance categories.
Paul Mescal.
Is Paul? No, Paul's not there.
No. I'm just asking.
Oh, you were pulling for him. You were hoping he was there. Nah, unfortunately not. Glenn Powell got in for Hitman?
A 2023 film.
That's interesting. Okay. Jesse Plemons got in for Kinds of Kindness. Good for him.
He had 3 good roles in that film.
That's right. I think he might be like the only person getting in for that, as far as I can see.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it kind of feels like one of the ones that'll get forgotten about, I guess.
Looked over. Yeah.
I completely forgot it was a 2024 film. I was going through my list this year, and I was like, "Holy shit! I don't even have this on my ranking." So
yeah. This best performance by an actor in a supporting role. Wait, hang on. This is so weird. Oh, so they break lead. Wait, what? They break lead performances into their usual musical comedy or drama bullshit, but then supporting, they just put them together. There's only 2 support. Anyway, so the best supporting, this is stacked. This has got Denzel, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown. I haven't heard of that. Okay. Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice, Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain, and Yura Burizov in Anora.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that seems like a pretty stacked category right there.
Which one's A Complete Unknown?
Oh, that's the Mangold one. I didn't know that I didn't know Norton was in it, so that's cool.
No, yeah, because I thought that was the name of it, but then because you didn't know it, I was like, hold on, is there a different fucking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Edward Norton plays like Woody Guthrie or something, but like from the trailers, he looks kind of minor. He looks kind of like just someone that's like in one of the chapters of Dylan's life. I think Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice is like a solid. Yeah. Are we picking? Is that what we're doing? I don't know what we're doing, but
do whatever we want. Yeah, feel free to pick.
Yeah. Yura Borisov might be there, I guess. He was solid. I mean, those 2 all Guy Pearce seem like the most likely. I don't know anything about Guy Pearce in that film, but I mean that film just had so much like momentum in terms of awards, so that might be another one.
Yeah, that's tough. I love Jeremy Strong. I love Denzel. I love seeing Kieran nominated for stuff. So yeah, I've got to see more of these movies, obviously.
Guy Pearce and what?
The Brutalist.
Oh, is he in that? Oh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They've got this wank ass cinematic and box office achievement award, which is the most rubbish shit I've ever seen. Just basically like all the top box office grosses of the year.
I mean, the box office award is just whatever is highest grossing, is it not?
But like, I would think so. But listen, why are we doing this? What's the? I feel like it mustn't be like mustn't be how they choose the winner. I don't know.
No, I mean, like there's no point in the category because like the box office award goes, so what should go to whatever's best gross.
I know, but then they have the category anyway, so it's like what? Very weird. Okay, cool. I don't know. Oh god, and they do the same shit with the goddamn TV shows. All the shows are probably going to be the same from like the Emmys because you know how all the time periods work differently.
Sure.
Squid Game's in drama. How have people seen? Have people seen that yet?
Yeah, did that come out? It hasn't come out, right?
No, it hasn't come out yet. It comes out in maybe you have a critic seen it or something. It comes out December 26th.
Yeah,
that's weird. How on God's green earth, dude, is Denis not nominated for best director? Okay, sure, guys, no worries. That's baffling. Before we move on from news chat, Jaden, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, or if you didn't see the news, I assume you probably did, of Jeremy Allen White being cast.
Oh yeah, as Rod
Grogu as Rod of the Hutt. And
that's funny as shit, man.
I needed to get your raw take on that shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, like how, like I don't know, like what like the Hutt life cycle is. So I don't know how old this guy's gonna be. Because obviously we last see him as a baby in the Clone Wars. Like I don't know if he's meant to be like a full-grown Hutt by the time like this is what some 50 odd years later. So probably he's gonna probably be like a full-grown Hutt,
like a teen Hutt.
Yeah. So like I don't know, doing like, I mean, because like we do have Hutts that speak English like zero, so like maybe he will be doing maybe he will be speaking normally, maybe he'll be
there's no other reason to cast him.
Yeah.
He must speak English.
So this will be very exciting though. I would love him if he's like still like a baby and he's like still like gonna get carried around.
No.
And he's still gonna like do the same crying and shit. That'd be funny as. But yeah, this was very funny news. Yeah.
But do you understand how bizarre this is? Because I can quickly explain it if I can help.
Okay. He's playing Rot of the Hutt apparently.
So in the Clone Wars, Jabba has a son called Rotto who's just a little baby slug Hutt. He's just like a little slug. And he's just a plot device.
And we see him only in the film. Do we see him?
He pops up in one season 3 episode. Is like in like a shot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's just a baby little Hutt thing, right? That's it. And we haven't seen him since he was just a stupid thing in plot device in the Clone Wars movie. Now, 15 years later, he's Jeremy Allen White has been cast to play him out of nowhere, and that's it. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. It sounds like something from like a Simpsons skit or something.
It does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's so bizarre. But yeah, you imagine that he's going to be. It's just going to be a new Hut character in the film.
Yeah.
Like for the general audience, it's going to be a new Hut character. He's probably he must speak English, even though Jabba doesn't. And Jeremy Allen White's going to voice him for some reason. So yeah,
but didn't production wrap on that? So is this just coming up now?
I finished shooting. Yeah, so
shooting. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so he probably hasn't done his stuff yet, right? You'd imagine.
So they didn't put him in a slug suit, you know.
Yeah, well, that you confirmed. Yeah, Jeremy Allen White was not in the slug suit.
Did you see any of the edits people made?
No.
It's just his face, like poorly photoshopped onto like Hutt's faces. Yeah,
it sounds so gross, dude. It sounds so gross. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
What did I watch? Wait, hold on. Shit, I watched something.
Did you watch an horror this week, or was that last?
I think it was last week. I watched Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, as Brian Cox pronounces it.
Good. Thank you. That's great. I needed confirmation of how to say that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty much exactly what you like. What do you expect, I guess? Decent medieval kind of story. Not that many like magical elements. There was like touches of it, but it was pretty much just like, very like traditional honor based kind of medieval storytelling stuff. And I mean the animation was pretty great. It was pretty fun, but definitely not like the event that some people thought it was going to be, or made out to be, when the kind of first news of it dropped. I mean, similar to the way kind of Rings of Power has kind of turned out, I guess. But like still like enjoyable enough,
Yeah.
So yeah.
I remember saying to one of our friends when the trailer popped up from the last thing we went to, but I was like, what's the point of attaching the Lord of the Rings name to it if it's not going to feature like orcs and elves and shit? It's like, is that kind of what ended up happening? Like, there's hardly anything like that. It's just,
there's like one or two scenes with like that kind of stuff, but it is pretty much, as I said, like based on like the human characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Jackson direct it, or is he just like a producer?
No,
definitely a director. No.
I think like some well-known anime guy directed it, right? I don't know.
Yeah. But like the voice acting is pretty good. Like Brian Cox is pretty great. He's definitely a highlight. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that does sound fun. I don't know what it is with this franchise of like what it's going to take to get. I guess I don't know. Everyone loves it, but it's like I don't know. It doesn't seem to be like landing overall in terms of the zeitgeist at the moment. Pop culture getting people out to be excited for these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll still make a couple $100 million though.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably been a little bit overshadowed by like Wicked and stuff, but like, yeah. I still expected more people to go out and see it. I mean, I wasn't even really going to see it, but just kind of a last minute thing. So yeah,
I thought it was going to be a Boxing Day film. I didn't even realize it was already out.
We got plenty of other Boxing Day films, so.
Sonic 3.
No, not that. This week I watched Casablanca for the first time. What a joyous movie, man. Oh my God, it was so good. It blew my expectations out of the water. It really did. I had started it on a plane a couple years ago. And when I say started it, I mean like literally, I think I just barely got to Humphrey Bogart. Like we're talking 4 minutes probably. And it was just because I think I was like, I don't know, I was kind of sleepy. And there was also one of those things where like I had shit headphones and like I can't even hear this shit. And it's like, whatever. So then, I don't know. But then like, so all I got to see of it was just black and white, which I know the film's in black and white. But anyway, basically I'm saying is that this was not an overall like something that happened that made me want to go back to it overly excitedly. I sort of had it on my watch list of like, I need to do myself this service of not throwing this movie under the bus, you know? And then So I didn't expect to dislike it or anything, but I was like, oh yeah, I've got to watch this classic movie. Let's check it out, and it was just awesome. Like I can't. It totally overachieved what anything I was expecting. I just can't believe how fast paced it is, how it moves, how like it's such a witty, quick script, really funny as well, really dramatic, great character dynamics. Just oh my god, it just flew by. It was just like the most engaging thrill ride, and then it was like had a really surprising story, and then it was over, and that was it. I was like, that's cinema right there. That's they did the job, they did the thing. One of the top Letterboxd reviews was something I was very conscious of watching it as well, which I liked, was that like wrapping your head around the fact that of what's going on in the movie and some of the scenes in the movie and how this was going, and this film came out while World War II was ongoing, is pretty mind blowing in terms of like these scenes of like, people singing French songs to stand up to the Nazis and stuff. And this movie, people watching this shit in the theater, and like with the real possibility that the Nazis could have won World War II. That's pretty nutty, I reckon. So with that historical context as well, it adds a lot to it. But it was just, it's peak cinema basically. So I don't know. I feel a bit dumb to be this surprised by it, to be honest. But I was. And it makes me think, Shane, both of you guys as well, but I know you've seen this film. I don't want to have too high expectations, but watching this film kind of made me feel like I've been overlooking films of this era in general. Yes. Where it's like I'm not expecting everything to be this good, but it's like, I think you're telling me there's like plenty of other films from this time that are like got really interesting stories like this. Like, I'm not even joking. Like I kind of write this shit off a little bit.
Yeah, no, you've definitely been overlooking like brilliant stuff. It's funny because I saw a thing on Twitter this week about how people that like dismiss old films are like not true like film fans, and I was like, a bit of Zach. But here you are coming around to it.
Not gonna deny it.
Yeah. No, like there's definitely going to be shit you come up against that's going to be exactly what you think it is, but there's also going to be some brilliant stuff that kind of subverts you. I will just say, don't expect Citizen Kane to move as fast as this. That's kind of praise for its kind of being beyond its time for its storytelling conventions, rather than like its kind of actual
entertainment.
Yeah. Oh no, it's still very entertaining. It's just that it doesn't have the pace of this. It's
okay.
It's kind of more groundbreaking in its non-linear storytelling. But yeah, I don't know. Like you need to give stuff from then a chance. Like some of it's going to land, some of it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Hitchcock's always a place to go. So you can definitely look to some of his 40s work, like Sabotage or like Saboteur or whatever it is, the war one. I'd say is probably the next one to go to, because you've seen Rope, haven't you?
Yeah, Rope was great.
Because Rope's in color, but Rope's still 48, which is only 6 years later.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So Hitchcock's always like I think the perfect jumping off point for like old films.
Yeah, I think to what extent a big part of like the film Casablanca being only like an hour and 40 was awesome. I think what it is honestly is that I don't know if I can do a black and white film that's like 3 hours long. I can do a 3 hour film. I can do a black and white film. I don't know.
Not a whole lot of them are.
That's what I was going to ask. Is like, am I in my head? I'm like, old movies long. You know,
Gone with the Wind is obviously like 3 hours.
I think that's one
from 39.
Yeah,
but like a lot of the other stuff back then, like it's you have your sub 2 hour runtimes.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I think of Gone with the Wind. I think of Kurosawa. I'm just like, dude, these movies are long. You know,
I mean, you're looking at epics and like foreign films at the time, like.
Yeah.
I mean, there is like a whole plethora of like American films that were just kind of
normal. Yeah. Okay. I think I've been totally exposed for prejudicing. That's fine. Is that a word? I don't know. Yeah. Very good. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I watched Civil War. Captain America Civil War. No, I'm fucking up. No, I watched Alex Garland's film. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I think people's main criticism for this is fucking stupid. Frankly,
I think I know what you're gonna say.
People saying that it's apolitical or there's got nothing to say, I think they're fucking idiots. it is just, you know, just firmly, staunchly anti-war, and that's all it really needs to be. Like they're like I think it's A24's fault for like trying to stir up like some like kind of political tension prior to the film as like a marketing thing, and it kind of led people to think it's got something to say. But like it doesn't need to say anything more than what it already does. It is just firmly, we need to avoid this at all costs because it is truly terrible. And like that's all you need. And then obviously, like the added commentary it has other than that is just like the sensationalization of war and like the media's role in the war.
Media's role for sure.
Yeah, and like how like, you know, I think like beyond just being war bad, it is about people are being desensitized and people are looking for violent kind of responses to these situations. And it's like because they've been so far kind of removed from it, and you kind of see it here. And I think Garland tells a fantastic story in that. You know, I do really think that this is a fantastic film from him. I think Kaylee Spaney and Kirsten Dunst are brilliant. So is Wagner Moura. The main four are all fantastic. And seeing Kaylee Spaney in this just hurts me because like she is just Ellie. There's 2 films from this year where she is just Ellie, and she'd be the perfect Ellie for part 2. You know, if you watch this and Romulus and you're like, and I'm like she is Ellie. You know, beyond looks, obviously. You know, like she is just that character. So there's that, but then I think it's I think like the film doesn't even mention politics at all, like whether like the presidency is like left or right. Obviously, there's like hints of it being like a right-wing presidency and like the left being like the Western forces, but like it doesn't need to say anything about who caused this or what caused it because that doesn't matter. It's war is senseless. It's useless. It needs to be avoided.
Yeah. And there was a lot in there about, you know, like, I don't know, the sense, like the sensationalism of the discourse about it and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And like, even like, I don't want to point to specific examples for spoiling it, really. But, yeah, I think there's people saying it's meatless, I think are dumb. Like, there's plenty of meat in it. And it's just that you don't want to eat the meat because you thought it was going to be something else. You're looking for pork, but you got beef, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean. And I think the thing I was wrapping my head around after I saw it as well, the film very much felt like what you get from it felt more visceral than intellectual, I guess. Yeah, like if you, I don't know, if you're looking for like, these ideological things to think about from it, I don't think it's that. It is much more simple, but like the film does such a great job of like putting you in that experience and just making you feel it. You know,
I think it's also Garland's fault for being like a typically intellectual like filmmaker.
True, it is just a version of that.
Yeah, and him kind of coming into this with a more kind of
raw
take sure on it. Yes. Yeah.
It is. It does subvert his other scripts definitely in that way. Yeah. You think of like all these philosophical shit with tech and stuff. It's not like that. Yeah.
But yeah. I think it's incredibly. I love seeing like kind of war in like the major scale of the city. So like when they get to like some of like those big sequences, I think it's fantastic. And then even like in some like the chromatic aberration that starts appearing in some shots, I think is fantastic. And like kind of what it implies for the characters. Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
Nice. I'm getting vibes that it might be mentioned next week. We'll see. Now it's time to hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your favourite movie based on a TV show? Leanne said, my favourite movie based on a TV show is The Untouchables. And then Leanne, I should have probably done, it doesn't matter. Leanne then goes on to defend the Cinema Effect theme, which I very much appreciate, by the way. The Cinema Effect theme tune is fine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All the Cinema Effect teams should be equal contributors. The onus should not be on one person to lead all of the discussion. Speak up, speak clearly, and look at your audience occasionally. Oh, man. Leanne's tearing us a new one here. This is an edited version of the longer comment I posted yesterday, which seems to have vanished. Cheers, Leanne. YouTube's trying to censor Leanne, but she will not be silenced. And thank you, Leanne. I appreciate your comment. Thank you very much. That's all I was saying. I feel like this is a staunch support of me. I'm just going to interpret it that way. You know what I mean?
I wonder
So
who's not
appreciate
looking
that.
at the audience. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Likely.
That's actually a good point. Yeah. The audience, it's fine. The Cinema Effect theme song, amazing. I agree. Thank you. Yep. Dr. Luke said The Simpsons movie and Get Smart. Who vomited Get Smart? Was that Andy? I'm just trying to see who reacted to that.
Probably.
The Discord. Sure
Get Smart used to be on TV all the time. I've seen that a few times.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. You're right about that.
I used to be a bit snobbish to it, but then like as I saw it more and more on TV, like it got laughed out of me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Andy agrees with Dr. Leanne, and he says, much like De Palma doing this Mission Impossible film that you'll be reviewing this week, he also remade The Untouchables, which was also based on a TV show from the 60s that went for 4 seasons. I never knew that.
No, neither.
Prior to this.
Yeah.
That's without a doubt my favourite film based on a TV show, and probably the best one, since nothing else on the list I searched up has the class of both of De Palma's films. Maybe Miami Vice from Michael Mann, but I tried watching it twice. My prediction is that's Liam's answer. Is it a good prediction, Andy? Now it's time to find out if it is Liam's answer.
Yeah, thanks for that, Andy. Yeah. I mean, I can't really think of anything else that matches it. But like I haven't seen anything of the series really. But like what I do kind of know of the series is that it's kind of like a pure like 80s thing or whatever. It's very like central to its like time, which I think the movie kind of is to like the 2000s, and it's kind of like hyper digital kind of aesthetic, and the kind of song choices that it uses, Linkin Park, Jay-Z, Audio Slave, shit like that. So I think it's very authentic to the TV show in that way, and is authentic to its era. And just in like how both shows are basically about how cool the central characters are, and that's also kind of a thing that is carried along with their cool kind of gadgets as well, like the Donzi boat in the film, and the car that's in the show. So yeah, but I mean, apart from that, obviously I love the film. It's like one of my favorite films in general. So yeah, that's
nice. Has it made you want to go back and actually, binge Miami Vice?
Oh, I've listened to some of the themes or whatever from Miami Vice, and like maybe there's enough interest there. But actually, yeah, there was a time where I wanted to watch the show, but I couldn't access it. Oh yeah. So maybe one day, yeah, I'll watch Don Johnson do his thing.
Yeah, nice. I just listened to myself talk about this on last year's awards, but like Seven Kings Must Die is my favorite movie based on a TV show. It was up against this and El Camino. I guess I don't love as many of these as I thought, but like, I mean, I do really like those 2 films, but I guess I would choose Seven Kings because El Camino is a really. I know people don't love El Camino. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a solid epilogue when viewed that way, but it feels much less essential than Seven Kings Must Die. El Camino, it's like if you never watch El Camino, like it's you should, but it's fine. You're not like it's not like no, I don't think anyone would like rage at you for not seeing it. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel essential, whereas Seven Kings Must Die feels essential. Like it's basically the ending of the show. The emotional ending of the show doesn't really work as well if you never see it. So I guess I'd lean towards that for that reason. Yeah. And this sort of goes into the thing of like based on continuation of, there wasn't that in terms of, picking a movie, there wasn't as many that I based on TV shows that I really liked other than Mission Impossible, to be honest, or I've seen. So yeah, Jaden.
Yeah, I didn't look at any list. I just kind of went through my 8, 9s, and 10s to try and find something. I didn't really find anything too satisfactory. Like I don't know, like if you'd even accept some of these, like would you accept Fallout as like a fucking as like a because it's 6 movies down. It's more based upon the movies before it than it is on the TV show.
It's okay. Yeah.
And then like the other one I got was Detective Pikachu, and I'm like, that's more based on a game, but it's got the anime and stuff as well. Like, but it is based on the game. It's like
yeah, it's based on the game.
And then like the only other thing I end up is with is the Untouchables, but two people have already said that, so I don't really want to like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I've probably seen some like movies of like 80s shows and like 70s. Like I don't know, I'm pretty sure I've seen like the Brady Bunch movie and like the Fat Albert movie and all that shit. But like I don't really love those. And then like other than that, like I'm not too sure what else could really qualify. Because I didn't look up the list. So. Yeah.
Well, obviously, The Last Airbender, you must have missed it in your 10 section, Jaden.
Oh yeah. Actually, I looked over that. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, for sure. M. Night's masterpiece. Do you have any, I don't know, fondness? I feel like you would. That's why I'm asking you. Any fondness for like the Disney Channel movies of shows?
Well, I was just trying to think of those. Like, what examples are there? Like, do you mean like the hour-long specials, or like, is there actually? I mean, like the good, like
the Disney Channel original movies they were called, right? Like, I don't know how long they were, but
I think it was like a good like Charlie movie, maybe. Then I can like kind of remember.
The one that always sticks out to me is Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension for some reason. I don't know if you were a Phineas and Ferb person.
I was a big Phineas and Ferb like TV show, but like for some reason I feel like I always missed the movies like of these like shows. I don't know.
So you never saw the Second Dimension Phineas and Ferb film?
I couldn't tell you if I have because to me it's just like a.
It's pretty. It's pretty. I don't know. Like I feel like you'd remember it. It's like pretty different. It's very sci-fi,
Yeah.
Naturally. Yeah. I feel like you need to add to your watch list right now, Jane. You need to check it out. Masterpiece.
I think I lost connection to the call.
Oh shit!
My camera.
Oh yeah, frozen.
Oh, you're frozen. Shit. Will it still be right when we're done? I don't know.
Who knows?
Well,
it's not really worth starting and restarting now. So.
Nah, we're right here at the end, so if they have to deal with
hey, there I am back.
Wait, you disconnected and connected?
The recording didn't stop though, so
no. But let's see how much that fucked the actual thing.
I've got no idea. Maybe the whole end will have to be cut. I've got no idea. But we'll keep going. We're right here at the finish line. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. We're not doing a film next week, so it's a bit of a trick question. But we do have a question nonetheless. And the specific question we'll be asking you is, of course, what were your favourite movies and TV shows of 2024? Let us know. And have your voice heard on the final episode of the year. Fitzy, what is usually the final episode of the year? What have we done previously?
What do you mean? Well, don't we do the awards? Wait, what?
Yeah. You don't need to be so like... Yeah,
trick question.
Yeah, it's not a trick question.
Wait, we're doing the awards. Yeah, the Cinema Effect Awards. Yeah.
The uncertainty in your voice.
Well, I might put a Discord. I talked about this last year. Discord has this events thing, So like we're gonna build the hype for this because this is the major event of the year, So
yeah, definitely.
We'll put it in the Discord and everyone can get excited.
Cool. I'm down
because this is our thing, These are the most important awards, like on the internet, basically. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. But you can tell we're like clearly pumped about them,
Oh, dude, I am like I
am too.
I have a stone face, but like it's like I'm keen to talk about this shit.
The awards will bring that energy up we were talking about at the start for sure. All right, very good. So there's no movie homework this week, but you have to write in. Everyone has to write in. If you made it this far into the episode, you have to write in. Let us know your favorite movies and shows of the year.
Top 3,
and
top
then
5,
we'll read you next week.
Top 40, however much you want.
Do the whole thing. Do it. Do the whole thing for real, for sure. All right. That's it. I appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. We'll see you next week, and goodbye.